When you look at your life and feel the weight of all the moments you think you missed, all the chances you believe slipped right through your fingers, I want you to pause and realize something powerful. The story is still being written, and the pen is still in your hand. There is a pulse in you that refuses to quit even when you've convinced yourself you're too late. There is a quiet knowing in the universe that keeps whispering to you, nudging you, pulling you forward with a kind of invisible telepathy, trying to remind you that the timeline you fear you've fallen behind on was never real to begin with. The truth is, you are not running out of time, you are running out of excuses. And the moment you decide to stop negotiating with your limitations, everything begins to rearrange itself around the version of you that is finally ready to step into the life you've been imagining, the life that has been waiting for you to catch up. Because there is a version of you, vivid, confident, expanded, that already exists in the quantum space of your desire. When you think of the person you wish you were, when you feel that spark of longing or the ache of potential, what you're actually feeling is resonance. You're not imagining a new identity, you're remembering it. And the moment you allow yourself to believe that it's not too late to become that person, you unlock the very frequency that begins pulling that reality toward you. You are not recreating yourself, you are aligning with the self you were meant to be before fear, comparison, and self-doubt distorted your perception. Every time you say to yourself, maybe it's too late, what you're really saying is, I've forgotten who I am. And the universe responds with endless opportunities to remember, subtle signs, unexpected moments of clarity, flashes of intuition, inviting you to step back into the timeline that was designed for you all along. The delay has not been a punishment. The delay has been preparation. Every setback, every moment of confusion, every detour that felt like a mistake has been shaping your capacity to hold the life you are calling in. You were not ready before, even though you wished you were. You needed the friction to grow into the strength, the depth, the awareness that your next chapter requires. So instead of mourning the time you think you've lost, honor the way it sculpted you. Honor the wisdom you gained from the seasons that nearly broke you. You are not late. You are arriving exactly on time for the version of your destiny that matches your current level of courage. And if you can breathe into that truth, even for a moment, you will feel the subtle shift inside you, the soft but undeniable opening that whispers, you can start now. And that whisper is enough. Because beginnings are rarely loud, they are quiet decisions wrapped inside tired hearts that finally decide to rise again. You were never meant to live your entire life inside the shadow of the decisions you didn't make. You were never meant to measure your worth by someone else's pace or someone else's success. The moment you stop comparing your timeline to someone else's highlight reel, you reclaim your power. You reclaim your focus. You reclaim your direction. And suddenly what once felt impossible starts to feel inevitable because your energy is no longer divided between who you wish you were and who you're afraid you'll never become. You step into the present moment with an authority that says, I may not have started earlier, but I am starting now. And now is enough. And when you choose now, when you declare that this moment is still fertile, still alive, still open to transformation, something extraordinary happens. The universe begins to reorganize itself around your intention. Paths you couldn't see before start revealing themselves. People you never expected to meet cross your orbit. Ideas that once felt out of reach suddenly feel natural, almost familiar, as if they were waiting patiently for you to lift your head high enough to notice them. There is a magnetic pull created when you stop doubting your timing and start trusting your readiness. You think you're late because you're looking at the clock, but the universe is looking at your energy. And the moment your energy shifts, even slightly, you step into alignment with possibilities that have always been there, hovering at the edges of your awareness, waiting for your permission to surge forward. This is why it's not too late, because what truly shapes your future is not the years behind you, but the clarity within you. The moment your inner world upgrades, your outer world begins to echo that upgrade. You're not behind, you're building. You're not stuck, you're strengthening. And the very obstacles you think disqualified you are becoming the very tools that equip you. The universe never wastes a wound, it transforms it. Your regret, your hesitation, your fear, these are not signs you've lost your chance. They are indicators that your next chapter requires a deeper version of you, and you are being molded into that version through the very experiences you once wished you could erase. So let the world say you should have started earlier. Let the timelines, the expectations, the comparisons fall apart. Your life is not a race, it is a revelation. It unfolds not in perfect sequence, but in divine timing. There are seeds inside you that could never have sprouted in the soil of your past mindset. There are dreams in you that required the exact perspective you have at this moment. And when you allow yourself to believe that the door is still open, you will feel your soul rush toward it with a kind of hunger you forgot you had, a hunger for becoming, for expansion, for the life you once imagined and convinced yourself was no longer possible. But it is possible. The possibility has not expired. The opportunity has not evaporated. What you think you lost is waiting for you to stop mourning it and start reaching for it. Because the moment you take even one step toward what you desire, reality begins to stretch around you. You become someone who can hold more, someone who can receive more, someone who no longer shrinks at the thought of starting late, but instead stands tall in the truth that starting at all is the bravest thing a human being can do. And bravery, not timing, is what creates destiny. There are people who started early and lost their way, and people who started late and changed the world. Timing is irrelevant when your conviction is alive. So breathe. You are not too late. You are right on the edge of becoming someone you haven't met yet, someone your future needs, someone your past could never have imagined. And every moment you choose belief over fear, every moment you choose movement over paralysis, every moment you choose trust over comparison, you shift the entire trajectory of your life. You are not trying to catch up. You are stepping into alignment. You are not racing time. You are reclaiming it. And the moment you fully accept that truth, the momentum you crave will rise to meet you. And as you continue stepping into this new alignment, you'll notice something else begin to happen. Your past stops feeling like a chain and starts feeling like a compass. All the moments you once labeled as failures begin revealing themselves as training, sharpening your intuition, expanding your emotional range, strengthening your resilience. You begin to understand that the version of you who struggled wasn't slow. They were essential. They were the one who kept going when everything felt uncertain. They were the one who stayed alive long enough for this moment to exist. They were the one who carried the flame when you didn't even know a fire was possible. So instead of condemning who you were, you start honoring them. And that shift alone releases a wave of energy that propels you forward with a force you didn't know you had. Because the truth is, the universe responds instantly to self-compassion. When you stop punishing yourself for not starting sooner, you free your mind to imagine what you can do now. Your creativity unlocks, your focus sharpens, your hunger returns. You're no longer trying to outrun your past, you're using it as leverage. Because nothing motivates expansion like realizing you still have room to grow, and the moment you feel that space inside you, the moment you sense that there's still potential waiting to be activated, you stop seeing time as the enemy and start seeing it as an ally. Time becomes spacious. Time becomes generous. Time becomes a canvas again, not a countdown. You begin making decisions from possibility rather than fear. You start moving with intention rather than urgency. And you finally understand that too late has never been a fact, only a belief inherited from comparison, from pressure, from a world that worships speed more than depth. But you are choosing depth now. You are choosing presence. You're choosing to build something real rather than something rushed. And what is real, what is grounded, what is aligned, is always worth the time it takes to create. That's why this moment, this exact breath, is powerful, because it marks the shift from waiting to becoming. And once you begin to become, the universe moves with you. You'll feel it in the way your confidence subtly rises, in the way your decisions become cleaner, in the way your intuition stops whispering and starts guiding. You don't need to know every step. You don't need a full map. You just need to trust that beginning late does not mean beginning less. You are not entering your life from behind. You are entering it with wisdom, with scars that have matured into strength, with clarity shaped by every season that came before. And there is something magnetic, undeniably magnetic, about a person who chooses themselves later in the journey, someone who decides that too much time has passed to keep hiding, someone who realizes that the cost of not becoming who they are meant to be is far greater than the fear of starting now. That kind of person doesn't need permission. That kind of person doesn't wait for perfect conditions. That kind of person moves because their soul refuses to stay still any longer. And when you tap into that energy, when you allow that urgency of truth to rise within you, you become unstoppable. Not because things suddenly get easy, but because you finally understand that your timing is not late, it's ripe. You are the one who chooses what happens next. You are the one who decides whether this moment becomes a turning point or another memory of hesitation. And even if your voice shakes, even if your steps are small, they are still steps forward. They are still steps toward the life calling to you. And with every step, no matter how late you believe you are, you begin dissolving the illusion that your life was supposed to follow a straight line. You realize the bends in your path were never detours, they were refinements. They taught you patience, empathy, discernment, and the ability to recognize an authentic opportunity when it appears. Starting now means you're stepping into your life with eyes that see more clearly, with a heart that feels more deeply, and with a mind that understands the weight of choosing yourself. This is not a weak beginning. This is a seasoned beginning, a beginning fortified by everything you've survived. And when you finally embrace that truth, something in your energy expands. You stop shrinking to fit the timelines that were never yours. You stop apologizing for the years you spent learning, and you stop doubting whether the life you want still wants you. Because it does. Desire doesn't abandon you. It waits for you. It lingers in your chest, tapping gently, reminding you that the dreams you can't shake aren't random. They're relational. They belong to you because you're built for them. And the moment you trust that, the moment you stop negotiating with fear, your entire future begins to accelerate in ways that defy logic. Not because you're rushing, but because you're aligned. When you're aligned, everything moves faster, not out of pressure, but out of flow. So let today be the day you release the heavy narrative that time has disqualified you. Let today be the day you recognize that your timing is not late. It's layered, complex, intelligent, the kind of timing that produces depth, not speed, the kind that creates transformation, not performance, the kind that builds a life you can actually inhabit, not one you only observe from the outside. There is still room for you to become everything you've delayed. There is still room for you to rise. There is still room for you to surprise yourself with how much strength, creativity, focus, and fire you still have left. Nothing in you is expired. Nothing in you is past its usefulness. You are not an old dream. You are an unfolding one. And one day, not far from now, you will look back at this moment, the moment you chose to believe it wasn't too late, and you will realize it was the pivot point, the invisible hinge that swung the door wide open, the moment the universe finally felt your yes with enough conviction to respond. And it will respond, with opportunities that feel eerily aligned, with people who match your new frequency, with ideas that ignite you, with momentum that builds quietly at first and then suddenly rushes in, all because you refuse to let a clock determine your destiny, all because you realize that the only thing you were ever waiting for was your own permission. You are allowed to begin again. You are allowed to start today. You are allowed to rewrite your story without apology. And every moment you choose to rise, the entire fabric of your life shifts to meet that rise. You are not late. You are waking up. And the world has been waiting for that awakening far longer than you realize.